Have you ever asked yourself how much of your life is spent trying to prevent things that haven't even happened? How many hours have you given to conversations that exist only in your imagination, to outcomes you rehearse as if practicing them will make them safer? What if the exhaustion you feel is not from life itself, but from the constant effort to control it? Maybe you tell yourself you're just being responsible, careful, prepared. But beneath the planning and analyzing, there is often something quieter, a fear of uncertainty, a discomfort with not knowing, a deep desire to secure a future that refuses to be secured. Overthinking can feel productive. It can feel like protection. Yet if you look closely, it rarely brings peace. It tightens your chest. It interrupts your sleep. It makes ordinary moments feel heavy. Buddhist wisdom teaches something simple and radical. Peace does not come from controlling life. It comes from relating to life differently. In this reflection, we will walk through 6 gentle lessons for letting go of what you cannot control, calming an anxious mind, and learning to live fully in the present moment. Not by forcing yourself to stop caring, but by loosening the grip that is quietly exhausting you. Take a slow breath. You are not broken. You are simply tired of holding too tightly. Let's begin. Lesson 1. The illusion of control and the body that carries it. Before control becomes a strategy, it becomes a sensation. Long before the mind says, "I need to figure this out," the body has already reacted. The jaw tightens, the stomach knots, the shoulders rise slightly, almost as if preparing for impact. The breath shortens without you noticing. If you struggle with overthinking, this pattern may be deeply familiar. You may believe your stress begins with thoughts, but often it begins with tension. The body senses uncertainty and prepares to defend against it. Then the mind builds a story to justify the tension. This is how the illusion of control forms. You feel discomfort. The mind says, "Fix it." You begin analyzing, predicting, rehearsing. But the analyzing is not true control. It is an attempt to soothe the discomfort of not knowing. From a mindfulness and Buddhist perspective, suffering does not arise simply because life is uncertain. It arises because we resist uncertainty. We try to stabilize what is inherently unstable. Think about how much energy goes into bracing for rejection, bracing for criticism, bracing for loss. The body cannot tell the difference between an imagined threat and a real one. So every future scenario you rehearse is experienced as if it is happening now. Your heart responds, your muscles respond, your nervous system responds. This is why overthinking is exhausting. You are living multiple versions of life at once, most of them hypothetical. Try something right now. Without changing anything, notice your posture. Are you leaning forward slightly? Is your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth? Are your hands clenched? Just notice. No judgment. Awareness is the first release. In many Buddhist meditation practices, the starting point is the body. Not because the body is separate from the mind, but because the body is honest. It reflects your relationship to the present moment immediately. When you are trying to control life, the body tightens. When you accept life, even briefly, the body softens. So instead of trying to stop overthinking through force, begin somewhere gentler. Each time you notice yourself spiraling into worry, pause and scan your body. Where are you tense? Can you soften your shoulders by just 5%? Can you let your breath deepen slightly? You are not trying to erase your thoughts. You are showing your nervous system that in this moment you are safe enough to soften. And something subtle happens when the body relaxes. The mind follows. You realize that control is often just unexamined tension. The more you practice relaxing in the middle of uncertainty, the less urgent your thoughts become. They lose some of their authority. They begin to feel like suggestions rather than commands. Happiness does not begin with eliminating uncertainty. It begins with meeting uncertainty without bracing against it. This is a profound shift. Instead of asking, "How do I control what might happen?" you begin asking, "Can I remain steady in the face of what might happen?" One question creates pressure. The other creates resilience. Over time, this practice of embodied awareness changes how you move through your day. You catch yourself earlier. You notice the tight jaw before the spiral deepens. You notice the shallow breath before it turns into panic. And in that noticing, there is choice. You cannot control the entire world, but you can soften your body. You can breathe. You can return to the present moment. That is not small. It is the beginning of freedom from overthinking. Lesson 2. Stop rehearsing a future that hasn't asked for you yet. There is a quiet habit that shapes much of your anxiety, and it often goes unnoticed. You rehearse the future as if it were a performance you must perfect before stepping onto the stage. You imagine how conversations might unfold. You construct responses to questions that haven't been asked. You prepare for criticism that may never arrive. You try to anticipate every possible mistake so you can avoid it. On the surface, this looks like responsibility. It feels like being careful, intelligent, prepared. But beneath it is something more fragile, a fear that if you are not mentally ahead of life, life will overwhelm you. So you stay ahead, or at least you try to. The problem is that the future is not a fixed script waiting to be memorized. It is fluid. It is shaped by countless conditions you cannot see. No amount of mental rehearsal can account for all of them. In Buddhist teaching, there is a deep recognition that the future does not exist in the way the mind imagines it. It exists only as a thought, a projection, a story unfolding in the present moment. When you worry about tomorrow, you are not actually in tomorrow. You are in a thought right now. This is why overthinking feels so draining. You are experiencing events that are not happening. Your body reacts as if they are real. Your heart rate shifts. Your muscles tighten. Your breath becomes shallow. All in response to imagination. And then, when the real moment finally arrives, you are already exhausted from having lived it 10 times in your head. Pause for a moment and consider. Has rehearsing the worst-case scenario ever truly made you safe? Or has it simply made you anxious in advance? The mind believes that if it can imagine every possible outcome, it will be prepared. But this is an illusion of control. The truth is, life rarely unfolds exactly as you predict. Sometimes it is harder. Often it is gentler. When you rehearse failure repeatedly, you train your nervous system to expect it. You move through the world slightly guarded, slightly braced, slightly suspicious of ease. But what if you experimented with something different? The next time you catch yourself imagining a future scenario, gently interrupt the pattern, not with force, not with frustration, simply with awareness. You might say softly, "Not now." Then bring your attention to something concrete, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the sensation of air entering your lungs, the sound in the room around you. This practice may feel simple, almost too simple, but simplicity is powerful. When you anchor yourself in sensory reality, you remind your body that you are here, not in an imagined tomorrow. And here, in this moment, most things are manageable. Right now, you are breathing. Right now, you are safe enough to listen. Right now, nothing catastrophic is happening. The future is not asking for your presence yet. It will come when it comes. And when it does, you will meet it with the resources you have then, not the resources you imagined in advance. There is a quiet confidence that develops when you stop pre-living your life. It is not arrogance, it is trust. Trust that you can respond in real time. Trust that you do not need to script your humanity. You do not need to be perfect in advance. You do not need to know every answer before the question is asked. In fact, some of your most authentic moments will arise spontaneously when you are not trapped in rehearsal, when you are not measuring yourself against an imagined standard. Overthinking steals the freshness of life. It replaces curiosity with control, but presence restores curiosity. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" you begin asking, "What is happening right now?" And this question is far kinder. Acceptance does not mean you never plan. Planning is natural and useful, but planning is different from obsessing. It is grounded. It has a beginning and an end. It does not spiral endlessly. You make a decision, you take a step, then you return to the present moment. When you notice yourself drifting into mental rehearsal, treat it as you would treat a wandering child. With patience, with gentleness, guide your attention back, again and again. This repetition is not failure, it is practice, and slowly the habit loosens. The future stops feeling like a threat that must be controlled. It becomes what it has always been, unknown, unfolding, and ultimately beyond complete management. You begin to experience more of your life directly. Meals taste richer, conversations feel more real, even ordinary moments carry a quiet depth because you are here for them. And this, more than any imagined preparedness, is what allows you to live fully. Lesson 3. What is truly yours to carry? Much of your mental suffering comes from carrying responsibilities that were never truly yours. You carry other people's reactions, you carry imagined judgments, you carry outcomes that depend on countless variables beyond your influence. The mind whispers, "If I just think about this enough, I can prevent something from going wrong." But consider how rarely this works. You replay a conversation trying to perfect it retroactively. You predict how someone might respond to a message you haven't sent. You try to manage how others perceive you. And slowly, your inner world becomes crowded with things you cannot actually control. Buddhist philosophy speaks clearly about this distinction. There are actions and there are results. You are responsible for your actions. You are not responsible for all results. You can choose to speak honestly. You cannot choose how someone interprets your honesty. You can prepare thoroughly for a job interview. You cannot control who else applies or what the company ultimately decides. You can love someone deeply. You cannot control whether they stay, change, or leave. When you blur this boundary, anxiety grows. Because you are attempting to manage an entire universe through sheer mental effort. Try a small daily reflection. At the beginning of the day, ask yourself, what is within my influence today? Not what is within your imagination. not what could possibly happen, just what is truly yours. Maybe it is your effort, your attitude, your tone of voice, your boundaries, your choices in this hour. Notice how specific and limited this list is. Now consider what is not yours. Other people's moods, the timing of opportunities, the weather, the past, the distant future. You are allowed to care about these things. Caring is human, but caring does not require controlling. Caring is open-handed. Control is tight-fisted. When you cling to outcomes, your peace becomes conditional. I'll relax when this works out. I'll feel okay when they respond. But life rarely aligns itself perfectly with your timeline. If your inner stability depends on perfect outcomes, you will remain tense most of the time. Acceptance, in Buddhist wisdom, does not mean passivity. It means clarity. It means recognizing the boundary between effort and attachment. You show up fully, you act with integrity, and then you release what happens next. This release is not indifference, it is trust. Trust that you cannot micromanage reality. Trust that not everything is yours to solve. When you begin to practice this distinction consistently, something surprising happens. Your mind becomes quieter, not because life becomes predictable, but because you stop demanding predictability from it. You stop personalizing every shift. You stop assuming responsibility for everyone's emotional state, and gradually your energy returns to you. You begin to live more in the present moment instead of inside imagined futures. You realize that much of overthinking is simply misplaced responsibility. You are trying to carry the wind. Put it down. Your hands are meant for living, not gripping the uncontrollable. Take a slow breath. In this moment, what is truly yours? Just this choice, just this breath, just this step forward. That is enough. Lesson 4. Release the story that keeps you trapped. There is something you carry every day that feels deeply personal, almost inseparable from who you are. It sounds like your own voice. It feels like your own thinking. But if you look closely, it is a narrative, a story that has been repeating itself for years. It says things like, "I've always been this way. I can't relax until everything is under control. If I let go, things will fall apart. I'm just an anxious person. I should be further ahead by now." These sentences feel solid. They feel factual, but they are interpretations, not truths. And when you repeat them often enough, they begin to shape your identity. In many Buddhist teachings, there is a gentle invitation to examine the idea of a fixed self. The sense of me that feels so stable is actually made of changing thoughts, memories, emotions, and sensations. It is not a single, unchanging entity. It is a process. Yet overthinking thrives on a rigid identity. If you believe you are someone who must control everything to feel safe, you will search constantly for things to control. If you believe you are someone who always messes things up, you will scan for evidence to confirm it. The story filters your experience. Imagine wearing glasses with a subtle tint. After a while, you forget you are wearing them. The world simply looks that way. In the same way, the story you tell yourself colors your perception of events. A delayed message becomes proof that someone is upset with you. A small mistake becomes proof that you are incompetent. A change of plans becomes proof that nothing is stable. But what if the event itself is neutral? What if it is the story that creates the suffering? Overthinking is often fueled by these internal narratives. A thought appears, what if I fail? And instead of passing like a cloud, it becomes the opening line of a long script. You imagine the failure. You imagine the consequences. You imagine the judgment. Your body reacts as if it is happening, and then you say, "See, I knew I couldn't handle this." The story reinforces itself. So this lesson is not about suppressing thoughts. It is about seeing them clearly. The next time you feel caught in anxiety, pause and ask yourself gently, what story am I telling right now? Not what is happening externally, but what meaning am I attaching to it? Maybe the story is, if this doesn't go perfectly, everything will fall apart. Or if they're quiet, it means they're disappointed. Or if I don't think this through completely, I'll regret it forever. Notice how extreme these stories often are. They use words like always, never, everything, forever. The mind prefers certainty, even if it is negative certainty. But life rarely operates in absolutes. It moves in probabilities, nuances, and shifting conditions. When you identify the story, you create space. You separate yourself from the narrative. Instead of being inside the storm, you are observing it. You might say softly, "This is a thought, not a fact." That small sentence can be transformative. In mindfulness practice, thoughts are seen as mental events. They arise due to causes and conditions. They pass when those conditions change. You do not have to fight them. You also do not have to believe them. Imagine sitting by a river. Leaves float by on the surface. Each leaf is a thought. If you jump into the river to chase every leaf, you will be exhausted. But if you sit on the bank and watch them drift past, you remain steady. The goal is not to have an empty mind. The goal is to stop drowning in every narrative. This is especially important for those who struggle to let go. Because often, what you cannot let go of is not the event itself, but the story attached to it. You replay a conversation not because the words themselves are unbearable, but because of the meaning you assign to them. You fear the future not because it is inherently dangerous, but because of the catastrophic storyline you've built around it. When you loosen your grip on the story, you free enormous mental energy. You may begin to notice alternative interpretations. Maybe the delayed message simply means the person is busy. Maybe the mistake is a normal part of learning. Maybe uncertainty is not a threat, but a space of possibility. You do not need to replace every negative story with a positive one. That can become another form of control. Instead, aim for realism, for openness, for flexibility. This might go well. I don't know yet. I'll handle it when it happens. These statements are not dramatic. They are steady, and steadiness is what an anxious mind truly longs for. As you practice observing your stories, you may notice something humbling and liberating. You are not the narrator. You are the awareness behind the narration. The voice in your head is not your essence. It is a pattern, a habit, a conditioned response, and habits can change. Every time you choose to see a thought as a thought, you weaken its hold. Every time you refuse to turn a small event into a sweeping conclusion about your life, you create more inner space. Over time, the narrative softens. It becomes less rigid, less absolute. You begin to experience life more directly without constantly filtering it through a dramatic storyline. And in that directness, there is relief. You do not have to solve your entire identity. You do not have to rewrite your past. You only need to notice the story when it begins and gently step back. Let the leaf float by. You are not the river of thoughts. You are the one sitting quietly on the shore, watching them pass. Lesson 5. Befriending impermanence instead of fighting it. There is a subtle resistance that runs through much of your overthinking. It whispers, "This shouldn't change." You may not say it out loud, but you feel it. You want relationships to remain stable. You want your sense of identity to stay intact. You want success to last. You want comfort to continue. And when something shifts, a plan falls apart, a person behaves differently, a season of life ends, the mind reacts as if something has gone wrong. But what if nothing has gone wrong? What if change is not a mistake, but the nature of reality itself? In Buddhist philosophy, impermanence is not presented as a threat. It is presented as truth. Everything arises, stays for a while, and passes away. Thoughts, emotions, bodies, relationships, circumstances. This is not pessimism, it is observation. Look at your own experience. The feeling you had this morning is not the same as the one you have now. The version of you from 5 years ago no longer exists in the same way. Even the cells in your body are continuously renewing. Yet the mind craves stability. It wants to hold on to pleasant experiences and push away unpleasant ones. It wants guarantees. This craving is understandable. It is human, but it is also the source of deep suffering. When you cling to something that is changing, you create tension. You argue with reality. Imagine holding water in your hands. If you keep your palms open, the water rests briefly. But if you squeeze tightly, trying to trap it, it slips through faster. The same is true for moments in your life. Clinging does not preserve them, it distorts them. Overthinking is often an attempt to freeze life. You replay the past, wishing you could edit it. You obsess over the future, trying to secure it. But both efforts are attempts to resist impermanence, and impermanence cannot be resisted. When you begin to truly accept change as a constant, something shifts inside you, not resignation, not apathy, but softness. You stop demanding that everything stay the same in order for you to feel okay. You begin to appreciate moments precisely because they are temporary. When you know a conversation will not last forever, you listen more carefully. When you understand that a season of life is fleeting, you engage with it more fully. Impermanence does not steal meaning from your experiences, it gives them meaning. Without change, nothing would feel precious. Even difficult emotions are shaped by impermanence. Anxiety rises and falls. Sadness peaks and fades. If they were permanent, you would never recover. The same law that takes away joy also takes away pain. So instead of fighting change, you can practice meeting it with awareness. When something shifts unexpectedly, notice your first reaction. Is there tightening? Resistance? A mental protest that says, "This shouldn't be happening"? Gently challenge that assumption. Why shouldn't it be happening? Has life ever promised consistency? Often what hurts most is not the change itself. It is your expectation that things should not change. This is where acceptance becomes powerful. Acceptance does not mean you enjoy every change. It does not mean you suppress grief or disappointment. It means you stop adding resistance on top of reality. You allow sadness to be sadness. You allow endings to be endings, and in doing so, you reduce unnecessary suffering. There is a quiet freedom in saying, of course this is changing, not in a defeated way, but in a wise way. When you internalize impermanence, you loosen your grip on control. You understand that life is movement, that stability is temporary, that certainty is rare. And instead of trying to anchor yourself in external conditions, you anchor yourself in awareness. You become less afraid of losing what you have because you recognize that loss and gain are part of the same cycle. This does not make you cold. It makes you compassionate. You cherish people more deeply. You speak more honestly. You take fewer moments for granted because you know they will not last forever. Over time, your relationship with change transforms. It becomes less of an enemy and more of a teacher. Each ending shows you that you can survive endings. Each transition reminds you that you are adaptable. And gradually, you stop trying to freeze life in place. You begin to flow with it, not perfectly, not without emotion, but with growing trust. Everything changes, and you are learning to change with it, without losing yourself in the process. Lesson 6. Come back to this moment, again and again. If you look carefully at your overthinking, you may notice something surprising. Most of it is not about what is happening right now. It is about what happened before or what might happen later. You revisit old conversations, searching for mistakes. You replay decisions, wondering if you chose incorrectly. You imagine future outcomes, trying to secure them in advance. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only place where your life is actually unfolding, waits quietly in the background. This is the great paradox of anxiety and control. In trying to manage your whole life, you leave the only place where life can truly be lived. Buddhist mindfulness teachings return to one simple principle. The present moment is not a concept. It is an experience, and it is always available. Right now, as you listen, your body is breathing. Your heart is beating. There are sounds around you. There is a subtle sensation of being here. This moment is not dramatic. It is not grand. It does not promise certainty, but it is real. And most importantly, it is manageable. When you think about the next 5 years, your mind may feel overwhelmed. When you think about every possible outcome of a situation, your chest may tighten. But when you bring your attention to this single breath, something softens. Overthinking thrives on distance from the present. It expands into past and future, because those spaces feel like places where control might be possible. You can analyze the past endlessly. You can plan the future endlessly. But the present moment does not allow endless analysis. It invites participation. It asks you to feel your feet on the ground, to notice the temperature of the air, to sense the subtle movement of your breath. For someone who struggles to let go, this can feel uncomfortable at first. Without the mental activity, there may be a sense of restlessness, a sense of, I should be doing something, but what if being here is already enough? Mindfulness is not about emptying your mind completely. It is about gently returning when you drift. Again and again, you will drift. Of course you will. The mind moves. That is its nature. The practice is not to stop movement, but to notice it without judgment. When you catch yourself spiraling into a future scenario, pause, not with frustration, with kindness. You might say internally, I'm thinking again. Then guide your attention back to something immediate. The rise and fall of your chest, the feeling of your hands resting, the simple fact that you are alive in this second. This is not denial of your responsibilities, it is grounding. From the present moment, you can take clear action. From a spiral of imagined outcomes, your actions become reactive and fear-driven. The more often you return to now, the more stable you begin to feel. Not because life stops changing, but because you are no longer mentally scattered across timelines. There is strength in simplicity. When you focus on this one task, this one conversation, this one step, your energy gathers. It is no longer divided among dozens of hypothetical futures. You begin to trust something deeper than control. You trust your capacity to respond. You may not know exactly what will happen tomorrow, but you know that when tomorrow becomes today, you will meet it in the same way you are meeting this moment, breath by breath. This builds a quiet confidence. Instead of saying, "I need to make sure nothing goes wrong," you begin to say, "Whatever happens, I will face it when it arrives." This shift is profound. It moves you from fear of uncertainty to acceptance of reality. Notice how different it feels in your body. When you insist on controlling everything, your muscles tighten. Your thoughts race. Your breath shortens. When you allow yourself to simply be present, your system recalibrates. Your breath deepens naturally. Your mind slows. There is space. Even in difficult circumstances, the present moment often contains less suffering than the story about it. Right now, you are breathing. Right now, you are capable of listening. Right now, you are here. That is not small. Life is not lived in dramatic highlights. It is lived in ordinary seconds. Drinking water, walking across a room, listening to someone speak, watching light change through a window. When you are lost in overthinking, these moments blur. When you are present, they become vivid. You do not need to solve your entire life to feel peace. You only need to return patiently, repeatedly, to what is real. And what is real is this breath, this sensation, this step. Control promises safety but delivers tension. Presence offers no promises, but it delivers aliveness. The more you practice coming back, the less power your anxious thoughts hold. They still arise, but they no longer define your experience. You are not required to let go perfectly. You are only invited to begin again and again. If this reflection brought you a sense of calm, subscribe to Mindfulness for more teachings on letting go, overthinking, and living fully in the present moment. Share this with someone who needs peace today. And remember, you don't need control to be okay. You only need this breath.